Hello everyone, it's Quick Flash, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the update 0.1.19. Now, this update it's not anything huge. I want to tell you about this update since I haven't made any other update videos. I'll include some other information about some new features that you might not know about yet or you haven't tried out yet. But I'll also go over some of the changes from 0.1.8 to 0.1.19. One of the nice features is we did some updates to Strix F10 FC, and before, in case none of you knew this, running the Strix F10 at any gyro rate and pidloop rate besides 32K would result in your craft being completely unflyable. We fixed that, and now you can run any gyro update and pidloop frequency rate that you want. Another thing that we've realized that isn't new to this update, but you see how this gyro here, the cycle time, is jittering like mad? If you disable telemetry, we save that, you're gonna see that, now my cycle time is perfect. That's a bug that's currently in EmuFlight. We're working on that. We don't really know what's causing it, but if any of you know, that would be great. Something else to notice is the dynamic filter. This filter is actually enabled on Helio flight controllers now. So if you have a Helio or a Strix F10 or a Mode 2 Flux or a Helio Spring Mini, you can enable the dynamic filter and it will work. By default it's turned off. It's just something to test. I don't know if it's even worth our time using the dynamic filter on a Helio flight controller, but it's something we're testing. Another thing that I'm testing is I've changed the way that non-feathered pids work. I've made a slightly different way of calculating the dterm in the non-feathered pids. The non-feathered pids pid controller. I'd like to see you give that a try. If possible, if the non-feathered pids flight controller works, and it works just as well or better than the feathered pids controller, I'd like to be able to remove, having two different pid controllers within the same firmware. It's a little bit of a mess. On to other things. There is this feature called the SPA. Let's see. It's called SPA. Stands for stick position attenuation, and what it basically means is if I were to set SPA rate P, if I set this to 150, when I move my stick to full stick deflection, my P is now boosted by a value of 1.5. So instead of your gains acting normal, it will increase across the stick if it's greater than 100 and decrease if it's less. It's essentially like TPA, except this is based on stick deflection. I've heard from a few pilots that it can help with stick feel. One thing that I've wanted to test with it, but I haven't had much chance, especially with it snowing where I'm at, is testing out making the SPA rate for I less than 100 and then running a higher I-term value. That's something I've wanted to test and see how that would work. Aside from that, as you should all know, there's now a dterm. There's now the kalman filter on the dterm for all flight controllers, Helio and non-Helio. You should tune that just like you would the regular IMUF filter, the same way you'd tune those Q's and W's. And yeah, that pretty much sums up this update. Oh, one thing. If you do think that you have a bit too much filtering, or you're wondering if having the AMA filter on dterm is any good, if you set the, here we go, set Kalman dterm Q, if you set this to 0, it will disable the Kalman filter on your dterm, and you will no longer be double filtering with the Kalman filter. Yeah, that's just a little change. In my opinion, I'd like to see some good testing with both the Kalman filter on dterm and with it just on gyro, just for my sake, to see if it's really worth having that extra Kalman filter. I like the idea of it, but I haven't been able to test it a whole lot. So if yous could all do that for me, that would be great. If you have any questions, hit me up. I am usually pretty good at answering questions. And yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you have a good day, and thanks for flying EmuFlight.